Hey guys, what's up? It's Chris here from Chris's Sci-Fi Reactions, here with another Buffy the Vampire episode. Last episode was very boring. Nothing exciting about it at all. Just lacked everything. A very forgettable. I say it's a very forgettable episode, but it's very much a memorable episode because of how bad it is. And apparently a lot of people I've spoken to say it's the worst episode of the entire series. I don't know if that's true, and I'll be interested to see in the future how right that is. So yeah, sorry about this being so late. We've been having a lot of work done here at the house, and I had my mother's birthday this week, so yeah, a lot of delays. You shouldn't really notice much on Patreon, really, because when I upload on YouTube, I do try and stick to a weekly schedule, but that's not always going to be possible. I mean, it's now Thursday, and I should have already uploaded this along with Smallville and Lock and Key. As you can see, I am quite a few days behind. So, without any further delays, I suggest we get right into this. Full uncut unedited reaction is available on Patreon, and my Twitter account will also be listed in the description below. Let's get right into this episode.
We haven't been properly introduced. I'm Buffy, and you're history.
A bit of a corny joke.
Execution was adequate, but a bit too bloody for my taste.
Giles, don't mention it. It was my pleasure to make the world safe for humanity again.
I'm not saying that your methods are without merit. You're expending too much time and energy. It should simply be plunge and move on. Plunge and... Hello?
Now, see, what you need is a guy who already knows your deepest, darkest secrets and still says, hey, I like that girl. Someone like...
Oh.
Well, this is our stop.
Hi.
Hi. This is going well.
I don't really know how to say this, but about last night.
You don't even have to. I'm sure you were pretty freaked out.
Totally. And I was wondering when I could see you again.
Not the best idea.
That was wonderful. Could you repeat that?
I think you're the coolest.
Really?
I mean, last night was incredible. I never thought nearly getting killed would make me feel so alive.
So that's why you want to be with me.
Oh,
Absolutely. When could we do something like that again?
Something like...
Like walk downtown at 3 in the morning and pick a fight in a bar. How about tonight?
Tonight would be not a workable thing. Did I just say that?
Tomorrow, then. I'm free any night this week.
I'm not. Please don't take this personally. It's not you, it's me.
Right. It's you.
And I was kind of hoping that maybe you and I could still be...
I get it.
I'm guessing Buffy wants someone completely opposite of her. Not someone that wants to
Yeah.
always be in danger.
Yeah. Great.
I was 10 years old when my father father told me I was destined to be a watcher. He was one, and his mother before him, and I was to be next.
Are you thrilled beyond all measure?
Now, I had very definite plans about my future. I was going to be a fighter pilot.
That's pretty cool.
Possibly a grocer. My father gave me a very tiresome speech about responsibility and sacrifice.
Sacrifice, huh?
It seems like a nice lad.
Yeah. But he wants to be Danger Man. You, Sander, Willow, you guys know the score. You're careful. 2 days in my world and no one really would get himself killed. Or I'd get him killed. Or someone else.
That's pretty
I
hard.
went to the funeral home of my own free will.
And I should have been there.
Buffy,
I blew it.
I have volumes of lore, of prophecies, of
Reading
predictions, but I don't have an
about
instruction manual.
something
We feel our way
is
with
very
our-
different.
And I must say, as a slayer, you're doing pretty well.
Well, at least I did stop that prophecy thing from coming true.
You did. Handily.
Well, that's
No
good.
more anointed one. And I would imagine the master, wherever he is having a fairly bad day himself.
And in this time will come the anointed, and the slayer will not know him. She will not stop him, and he will lead her into hell.
Oh, shit!
Friend,
I didn't see this coming. That's pretty cool. Okay, so that was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 5, Never Kill a Boy on the First Date. Actually really enjoyed this, certainly a lot better than the last episode, and I get the feeling this was part of the season arc, so this is going to be the season arc, whether it goes on longer than a season. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. I'd probably give it maybe a low 8. But as you know, this is the first season and I've not got any reference really, so we'll just have to see how this goes. I mean, maybe I'll do... If anyone's interested, please let me know about doing maybe a Season 1 review. You know, instead of just each episode at the end of this season, which I think is 7 more episodes, I could be wrong. If you'd like me to do a season review, I can do that. Just let me know in the comments below. Okay, so let's break this story down. Okay, so we start off Buffy's sort of being evaluated by Giles as her slaying methods. Basically saying Buffy's relatively good, but she needs to sort of take the speech out of it, not the speech, the sort of personality out of it. More of a stab, move on to the next one. Rather than corny jokes, I suppose. Then we get here the Master talking about the Anointed One. It's the opening. We have then Owen sort of come into the library and Giles says here, "Oh, what do you want?" Oh, which is quite funny actually. It's like, oh no, this is a school library, isn't it? I think Giles' sarcastic humour is a lot better than Buffy's. It's really funny sort of seeing Buffy as well, very much like what you would, I guess, define as an adolescent girl. Then we get Xander sort of here, jealous of Owen. We get Cordelia, who's sort of trying to get Owen herself over Buffy. We then come here, we sort of learn that the Anointed One, and that it's going to happen on the same night as Buffy and Owen's date. It then turns out that they believe Giles is wrong, and, you know, then we sort of get here on the bus with this, clearly he's a psychopath because he's killed 2 people. We then come here to the Bronze, where we see that Cordelia has sort of been a bit of an opportunist and taken Owen sort of for Buffy. We're back here on the bus, and the vampires, and it's the same night, so Giles was right, but wrong place. Okay, here we are, sort of about Owen again, and Xander sort of showing the jealousy. I find it very annoying, Xander. Here we're back in the library again, just Giles doing research on the Anointed One. Then we sort of have, you know, typical sort of thing you see in a TV show. We're trying to figure out what to wear on a date. We then have Giles come over and sort of tell her, oh yeah, that it did happen on the night. Owen sees Giles and sort of like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh yeah, you haven't returned a library book. Then Owen, on their date, sort of says, you know, to Buffy, oh, life isn't all about dating, and Buffy's a bit like, oh no, that's not right. Then we get them dancing. Cordelia is jealous, which I like because, you know, usually it's typical that girls like that get the boys. Giles decides to go to the funeral home himself. He gets caught by the vampires, or almost. Xander and Willow sort of followed him, chose to back him up, which is good, and I actually like that Xander and Willow both chose to back up Giles, whereas Buffy sort of indulged in a bit of selfish behaviour. And then we have Angel here, who's very, you know, Cordelia tries to make a move on him, but of course Angel seems to only be interested in Buffy. I like here where we get a bit of jealousy between Angel and Owen. Then we get sort of Xander and Willow coming in, pretending to be with each other to try and get Buffy's attention. Then they head off to the funeral home, where Owen followed them. Again, I'd be really curious to know, would you follow a girl? Let me rephrase that. Would you follow a date to a funeral home? Giles was hiding, basically. Buffy's trying to protect, Xander, Owen, and Willow by locking them, having them lock up. We then see that there's a dead body there. It's that murderer, who we then find out turned into a vampire, sort of keeps his personality that he had on the bus. Have a bit of a fight here between him and, all of them. Buffy thinks, he killed Owen. And then, Buffy basically gets into quite an aggressive fight with him, ends up throwing him in the furnace, or the cremator. She finds out Owen's alive. Owen decides he wants to go home. I think it was just a bit too much for him. Buffy's asking that when Owen was on his way home, did, Owen say anything about that night? And he did. He didn't, I mean. Here we find out Owen's very much got a taste for the excitement now of Buffy, which is really good, sort of wanting that excitement. But Buffy obviously doesn't want that, that sort of person that just wants the excitement, because she's afraid that, she'll get him killed. She said basically, 2 days in my world and no one would end up dead. She was also complimenting here, sort of Willow and Xander as saying, oh yeah, they're careful, they know the score, but Owen doesn't. That's an interesting thing. If Owen did know the score, would he still be as reckless, or would he be as careful as Willow and Xander? Here, this is a great part. We find out that the Anointed One is actually the boy that was on the bus. Now, I'm assuming he's been turned into a vampire and is no longer human, but I was so surprised about that. I was so sure that the Anointed One was that psychopath. And I guess that was their intention, to try and draw you to that conclusion. But this was so surprising, and I love it when TV shows do this. When TV shows make that really great twist that no one, or I'd like to think a lot of people, didn't see coming. If you did, let me know in the comments below. I mean, maybe a lot of you did see it coming. But yeah, I'd say an 8, I think. Yeah, an 8 out of 10. Okay, so after all of that, I really enjoyed that. Remember, the full uncut, unedited reaction is available on Patreon, link in the description below, along with my Twitter account. On my Twitter account, I always post when I upload the videos to Patreon, as well as when I upload them to YouTube. Yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.